What's the stupidest thing a school employee ever did? My son's science teacher made the whole class eat weeds from behind the dumpster to make them stronger. I got a call from the school nurse in the middle of the day. She said my son was having some kind of reaction and I needed to come immediately. When I rushed into the nurse's office, it looked like a small clinic after a disaster drill. 5 kids were sitting in a row with swollen lips, watery eyes, and cold packs pressed to their faces. 2 more were lying down, holding their stomachs, and standing in the corner, arms crossed like nothing was wrong, was Mr. Howard, my son's science teacher. "They're fine," he said before I could even ask. "These are just signs their bodies are adapting to nature. Kids these days are too sheltered." The nurse shot him a look that could cut glass. "They're having allergic reactions," she said sharply. Mr. Howard just shook his head. "It's part of the process. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger." I crouched next to my son. His tongue looked swollen, his eyes were red, and he was trying to talk, but the words were jumbled. "What happened?" I asked. Before he could answer, Mr. Howard jumped in. "We were studying survival skills. I had them taste test an energy plant used by early settlers." It wasn't the first time he'd pulled something strange. Last month, he had them walk barefoot in the school field to toughen their feet. Before that, he made them hold ice cubes for 10 minutes straight to train their pain tolerance. Most parents thought it was weird but harmless. This time, it wasn't harmless. Another parent rushed in, took one look at her daughter's blotchy skin, and demanded to know what they'd eaten. Mr. Howard said proudly, "Nature's energy root, perfectly safe in small amounts." The nurse interrupted. "You pulled it from next to the dumpster." He waved her off. "Location doesn't change its properties." Within minutes, 3 parents, including me, were loading our kids into cars and heading straight to urgent care. The doctor took one glance at my son and asked, "Did he eat wild hemlock?" When I told him it came from a patch of weeds at school, he immediately called poison control. "Even a small amount can be toxic to children," he said. "The swelling and nausea you're seeing, that's the early stage." While we were in the treatment room, 2 more families from the same class arrived, all with the same symptoms. By the next morning, my son could finally talk without pain, and he told me everything. Mr. Howard had lined the kids up, given each a stem, and told them not to give in to the burn, because discomfort means it's working. He even refused to let them drink water right away, saying it would weaken the adaptation process. I went straight to the school with the medical report in hand. In the front office, I found Mr. Howard arguing with the principal, still insisting it was a controlled experiment and accusing parents of ruining a valuable lesson. That's when another dad walked in carrying a bag of the same plants. "You think it's safe? Prove it." He dropped the bag on the desk. "Eat it, right now." The room went silent. Mr. Howard laughed nervously, then plucked a small piece, popped it in his mouth and said, "See? Perfectly." He didn't finish the sentence. His lips started turning red, then swelling. The nurse told him to sit down before he passed out. He spent the next 3 days in the same ER as the kids. The school never had to suspend him. He resigned the next morning, claiming he was too ahead of his time for this generation. Turns out what doesn't kill you makes you unemployed and leaves you as useful as a weed by a dumpster.